Okay, here we are with the first riff. Now, one of the first techniques that we're going to talk about is just shameful stealing of other people's material. Okay, now I know that might sound a bit of a bad thing, but trust me, this is one of the ways that writing music is done, and it's perfectly accepted. In fact, there's an old saying, good composers borrow, great composers steal. So, what we need to do to write our own rock riff is, first of all, pick a riff that we already know, or even a riff that we half know. But if you know the riff fully, it does help, and then we can develop one of our own ideas from this idea that we already have. Now, the first riff that I want to use is classic riff, probably one of the most popular rock riffs of all time, Smoke on the Water. So, Smoke on the Water goes like this. Now, I want to stress, because we're going to end up writing our own riff, it doesn't even matter if I get this wrong. Hopefully I won't. But the point I'm making is that if you've got a riff that you've kind of learnt from somewhere and you think you know it, but you're not quite sure, sometimes that can actually help. At times when I've written my own music, I've actually recalled a piece of music that I heard somewhere, played what I thought it was, and then found out it wasn't that at all. And then by the time I extracted my own ideas from it, the fact that I got it wrong helped. So hopefully that's making some sense. But let's just get straight in and look at the first riff. Okay, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to change two things. I'm going to change the key. Okay, at the moment we're in G. I'm going to change the key to A. Okay, and I'm going to extend the chords a little bit further. If you look at that riff with Smoke on the Water, I'm just using open D and open G strings. Okay, so when I change the key to A, I'm going to use an A5 chord, which is going to be open A. It's going to be second on the D, second on the G. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a C5 chord, which is going to be third on the A, fifth on the D, and then fifth on the G. Then we're going to move that up to the 5th fret, playing a D power chord. And then we're going to use this chord, which is E flat, which is going to be 6 on the A, it's going to be 8 on the D, 8 on the G. So here's the chords we have: A5, C5, D5, and E flat 5. Okay, so already it sounds different because we've changed the key. Now, the first part of Smoke on the Water, even if I played it in this key, would be... So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change one other thing, and now this is a really, really crucial thing when writing your own stuff. I'm going to change the rhythm. Okay? So instead of going 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. For my riff, I'm going to change the rhythm to this: 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Okay? So you see there was a rhythm change there. Now that's a rhythm change that I decided to make. You could change it to any rhythm that you want. The idea is that you change that rhythm. Okay, so now the riff sounds like this: 2, 3, 4. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend it a little bit further, and I'm going to put a little kind of riff on the end, which is going to go along with my drum fill, which you'll hear when I do the demonstration. I'm going to play open D and open G together very quickly. Then I'm going to hit these harmonics on 5th D and 5th G. Like that. They sound a bit daft on their own, but when I play it along with the drum fill, you'll hear exactly what I mean. Okay, so what have I done? I've changed the key. I've changed the rhythm. I've changed the end. Now I'm going to change one more thing that's going to make a dramatic difference. I'm going to change the speed. Okay. So, the original riff that we had was about here. I'm going to change my speed to around this tempo. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you can see how it's got a little bit faster. So basically, we play the riff round, and I'll just explain that ending to you. Okay, you notice the fourth time I went back to the A, played that open D, open G, then hit that. Okay, so I'll just play it in its entirety one more time at a slow speed, then I'm going to demonstrate it along with bass and drum track. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now I've got my own rock riff. I'm starting at a quite simple point here, and it will get more difficult as we go along. But let's just recap on what we've done. We took the riff from Smoke on the Water, okay? The first thing we did was change the key. Then we just made the chords just a little bit bigger. Then we changed the rhythm. Then we changed the speed. And then I just changed the ending slightly, just to give it a bit of a different flavour at the end of each piece. Okay, so hopefully we have our own riff now. It doesn't start or sound anything like the place that we took it from. And now I'm going to play it along with the drums and bass, and hopefully it's going to stand up on its own as its own little piece of music or its own rock riff. So you heard me play along to a bass and a drum track there, and hopefully now it stands up on its own as a rock riff, your rock riff, or in this case, mine.